Hey now, Matt LaBarber Music here, and today I am talking to you about the knobs on your bass guitar. What do they do, and how can you use them to shape the sound into something that you're looking for? You're going to notice right now I'm playing my P bass. I'm going to try 3 different types of basses and explain to you what they all do. So you can, if this one doesn't apply to you, you can skip ahead to one that does. But before you do that, I'm going to tell you that I approach this stuff not from like the scientific point of view. I'm not an expert on, why pickups work the way they work or magnetics or anything like that. I'm just a guy who really listens to a lot of music and loves all different kinds of music and tries to get the sounds out of my instruments that I'm hearing on the records that I love. So I'm going to encourage you to experiment. Okay, you'll see I'll play like one riff kind of over and over in different with different configurations, so you can sort of see what one thing does versus the other. So and if you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. Share it with anyone that you think this will benefit, which really, if you don't know this, it benefits everybody because sound is like 90% of the battle. So I'm going to talk to you first about this. Really, the P bass only has 2 controls, which is just volume and tone, right? So right now what I'm going to do, my volume and tone are both off, right? So I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to turn my volume on sort of full blast, okay? And that's the one that's closest to me. And I'm going to play my little control riff. Okay. Now without the tone, you don't hear much. You're probably hearing maybe my microphone pick it up. So here's 0, here's completely off. And then I'm going to turn the volume on. And you hear it kind of sounds a little bit underwater, right? Like there's not much to it. So I'm going to turn the tone knob. First I'm going to go all the way up. I'm going to go up to 10, okay? And you hear it's very bright, okay? Which some people might like. Okay, here's all the way off again. And here is all the way on. I like to do, and here's sort of middle in between. And really, I don't like it all the way off. I like it just maybe 2 or 3 turns, right? That's kind of my default. It's still pretty bassy, less trebly, less of the high note sound and more of the low notes. And again, and you hear how, like, if it's too trebly, for me, it kind of picks up the sound of my fingers more than I want, rattling off the strings. So that's why I like to stick to this one. So that's for the P bass sound, okay? And next I will try another passive bass, my Hofner bass. So let's check that out. It's got 2 pickups. Okay, now I have switched to a different kind of bass, and this has 2 pickups, okay? One's going to control the neck, and one controls the bridge. If you are playing your bass, even with the sound off and you just pluck, you're going to notice that if you pluck closer to the neck versus the bridge, you're going to get different sound. And that's because back here the strings are tighter, it's a little bassier. Up here it's a little looser, a little more trebly, right? So for me, these knobs control the volume of the pickups, and these are the tone of each of those pickups. So I'm going to try the volume here first, okay? And I'm going to turn it up to 10. So here's 0, by the way. Okay, you might hear a little bit off the mic, but now here is with the volume all the way up. Okay. And remember, I haven't changed anything on the, like an amp or anything. This is just me plugging directly into my board here. So that's full volume on this bass, but no tone. So now I'm going to give you full volume and full tone. You hear how much brighter that is? Maybe too bright, right? So now here's halfway. And it's interesting because it picks up different sounds, right? Like here, you can't really hear the high notes as much, but you also don't hear like the sound of the strings. Okay, so now I'm going to turn these two all the way off. And I'm going to use this pickup, which is mostly up here, right? Okay, now that's no tone. Here comes the tone. Full tone. You hear a lot more of my fingers though, don't you? Very trebly, right? So here's halfway. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back down to 0 on everything. And I'm going to go halfway on each one of these. And tone is off, really. And I'm going to go halfway on each tone. Let's try full and half. Full and full. Big difference, right? Go back to half. I go 10 on this one. 10 and 10. This is 5 and 5. So hopefully you're getting the idea that there's a lot of combinations that you can get. And ideally, you know, you'll find the sound that is right for you by experimenting. What I liked, I kind of like a blend of both of those things. But it also depends on the song, right? So now I'm going to try a different set of pickups on a different bass. So this is going to be a bass with active pickups. The other two I've done so far are passive pickups. Okay. So this bass here has active pickups, okay? And it's also different because it's got, kind of like my P bass had before, this one, and then there's also one that's closer to the back, okay? So a lot more different tones that you can get out of this, a lot more control. More options sometimes is worse for me. I like to keep it simple, but there's a lot you can do with a bass like this. So here, you'll notice that my volume is off, okay? And I'm going to split. Again, these are the two different tone controls, or I mean the two different volume controls, and these are going to be the tones. So here I'm going to do the first one all the way up, but with no tone. Still underwater, right? So I'm going to give it some tone. I'm going to go halfway. Big difference already. And then all the way. Very trebly though, isn't it? Because it's way up here. Okay, middle again. And off. Now I'm going to switch to the other pickup. And I apologize about the static. I don't change this one as much, so there's some dust in there. Okay. That's tone off. Here's midway. And here is full. Okay. Now, I'm going to go off on everything again. I'm going to bring both of these pickups on. And I'm going to go halfway here, halfway here. And now let's go full. Double full. Ooh, a little distortion. Too hot, right? So I'd have to adjust the settings on, my amplifier really if I was going to use that setting on this bass. But again, let's go middle and middle. And I'm going to go full here. Middle here. And the opposite. Middle, full. So many different options for tone, right? It's crazy. So I'll find a blend eventually that I like by experimenting. Like, oh, what if this one is full? Nope, too trebly for me. What if this one's lower? Okay. And experiment until I find a sound that I want for the song that I'm playing. And again, like I said, we could get way more technical as far as the electronics and how all that stuff works. But probably I can't because I've always just plugged things in and experimented, okay? And messed around with the knobs until I found the sound I was looking for. And then, the amp conversation is an entirely different conversation, but really you see how many different possibilities I have with different basses and different configurations of knobs, not touching the amp at all. I would encourage you to do the same thing, experiment. Just find a riff that covers, a couple of different strings. I didn't do all four, I just used the high and then the middle. But if I wanted to, even dig around more with the tone, I would get to the lower notes as well. But again, the main thing I'm trying to encourage you to do is experiment and at least just try to understand what your bass can do, the different sounds it can make. A lot of people just plug it in and forget about it. They just plug it in and play and never pay attention to the sound because they don't want to mess it up. But again, messing it up is how you find your sound, and your sound is 90%. We're all playing the same notes, but it's how we sound when we play them and the feel that you put into them that makes your bass playing stand out and makes it your own. So thank you again so much for watching. Remember, I don't profess to be any kind of expert on how this stuff all works, scientifically, but again, I am a person who's experimented a lot with different sounds, and I would encourage you to do so. So if you like this video, if you think it'll help anybody that you know besides yourself, please like and subscribe and share. Give me some positive feedback if you have any. If you have negative feedback, it's probably better if you keep it to yourself, but that's okay. And again, check me out, MattLaBarbermusic.com. I got hopefully tons of other videos that will help you out to learn other cool things. One should probably be popping up soon. And thanks again. You guys happy basing, and I'll see you in the future.